30, right? So I will only use 10 and 20 and use it R1. So firewall don't have any configuration, okay? And I guess routers have configuration already. Let me check on router first. There must be configuration. Yeah, it have IP 10.1. Okay, loopbacks as well. It must have route. It have loopback of 222 and 3 and IP and route as well. So it's time to configure the firewall. My bad, there is no password. Okay, configuration terminal, host name is ASA. First of all, we are giving IP address on interface 0 by 0, no shutdown. Okay, name if is required, that is inside. So inside have always security level 100 and IP address is here 10.10 slash 24, interface kick 0 by 1 and name if is here outside. Okay, and every other name have security level 0, but you can give if you want. Okay, with this command, but we are not going to configure, that is enough. So here is 20.10. okay, so we configured here. Okay, now we can check show interface IP brief. Okay, show routes. So if we can try to ping 10.1 reachable, 20.2 is R2, it's also reachable. So the by default everything is here, just I'm going to configure the NAT now. Okay, so for NAT I'm using first of all network object concept, which we discussed for static NAT configuration. So the command is object network, and you can give the name is rule 1 for me. First of all, you need to give the real IP address, and we can give here real IP like this. I'm giving here single IP address of the host for now, just to show you one-to-one translate. Okay, in static NAT. After that you need to define NAT. Okay, and you need to give the real real interface. If you check, we have here interface names, like any can be for every interface, but for not for now, I will show you later where we can use any. But here if you check, you have here open parentheses like with the small bracket. Okay, we can give here internal name if and the external name if of the interface according to the traffic flow. Okay, it's not only internal is not only about inside or outside. Okay, it can be any interface, but you need to understand the packet flow, and accordingly you can decide which is the real interface and the mapped interface. Okay, so we need to give here inside. Okay, then outside interface, static, and the translated IP address. Okay, just a minute guys, give me a minute. Okay guys, so we were configuring the static NAT configuration on firewall, right? So we configured the static NAT on firewall. So if you check the configuration is visible here, right? So we configured NAT in real interface and the mapped interface and the static entries here, right? So this is the static NAT. If you check show NAT, so that is visible here. Okay, so what is the section 2? We will discuss that also, but not now. And now see, this is our entry 1 which have real interface and the mapped interface. Okay, and this is translating the source IP address statically in rule 1 into 20.1.1.11, right? And if you want to check the entry, show network, wait a minute, object network, not this command, show net, the command is I guess network object. Wait a minute, I'm looking the command. There is a command which show you about show run object network. Okay, so here you can check which host you are going to be translate. Okay, and show run net. So here you will get the net, so both will not visible into that, into same configuration. So this is for host and this is for the net rule which we configured inside it, right? And now right now we don't have any entry, but in this rule I want to show you some things. If you configure show net, in this output there are two things. One is the translate hits and one is untranslate hits. What is the meaning of translate hits and untranslate hits? Anyone know? Guys, even the route on firewall, is it allowed? Let me check, I'm not sure. Yeah, transport input all, okay. What's wrong with you? Okay, maybe first time it was taking time. Admin and Cisco, so we have now connection, right? And now if you check the same rule, so we have here two hits. Why? The traffic is initiated from LAN to WAN, so that is from real interface to mapped interface. Okay, so in that case translate hits increase, in that case translate hits increase, right? And now if you check show con, so in even in the connection table you can see, even in the connection table, just a minute, this is not showing about the translation. We have to check con long, right? So here is just your TCP connection. We are sending data to 20.2 on port 23, and this is the inside IP on this port number, right? And these are the flags, but you can check using the show con long command, and here see the traffic is initiated for outside network for 20.2 IP. So 20.2 IP is the same IP that is not translated in any IP. Okay, and traffic initiate from inside network, the real IP is 10.1, that is translated into 12.11, right? So that is your entry into which table? Escalate table, that is NAT table, guys. Okay, so NAT table is escalate table. You have entry see. So here you can check NAT is configured from inside to outside network. Okay, 10.1 to 20.11. The flag is showing as mean static entry, and this is the timer, idle timer, and timeout is 00. Okay, so we have created here static NAT, but normally static NAT is created for server, right? For servers. So for an example, we have same network here, but right now I'm just going to create one more NAT rule. Okay, so what I want, like R3 is here and R3 have two servers. R3 have two servers, and here I have some users on internet, right? So these are the public users. Okay, so these users are trying to access my this server 1 and server 2. Maybe they are trying to access on port number 80 and port number 23. Okay, both the services, but I have here NAT device between them. I have NAT device, or you can say right now I have only one server. Maybe I'm using the real IP address 30.1.1.3 for this time. Okay, so what I want, if anyone is coming from outside world to my server, so firewall will translate. So what I want to translate here, guys, object network. Okay, so this is for DMZ, my DMZ network, and I want to translate 30.1.1.3, and I'm giving here NAT rule. Real interface is DMZ, mapped interface is outside for me, and I want to give a static entry like 20.1.1.12 this time, because 11 is I'm using for the LAN. Okay, so I'm giving here. So if anyone is coming for 20.12 IP, so that automatically translate into 30.3 IP, 30.3 IP. So that means this time I want to initiate traffic from outside to DMZ. So that is going to be untranslate hits for me. That is going to become untranslate hits for me. Are you getting my points, guys? Or is there any confusion? Everyone? Okay, you can unmute yourself and you can ask if you have doubt. Okay, okay, so let's create the rule, guys. So this will be the rule. Okay, so again remember which is your real interface and which is your mapped interface. So this is your real interface and this is your mapped interface, but how? Okay, so what we want, just let understand the traffic flow first. Okay, so this means we have here some user. Okay, so just an example, user have IP 2.2. Okay, and that is trying to hit, or that is trying to access my server, but I will not give my real IP address in the public world, right? From for security reasons and other reasons, right? So now we are giving a public IP, so that means source is 222, that is going to hit on a public IP address 12, right? So what I want, this 12 IP address must translate into my private IP, into my private IP. So 12.1.1.20.1.12 is going to be translated into 30.1.1.3. So that means 12.1.1. Sorry, my bad. 20.1.1.12 is the IP. Okay, so user will hit on this IP, that will translate into 30.3 IP. So in that case, which IP is translating on this interface? Source or destination? Guys, which IP address is translating here? So the traffic is coming, data is coming. Source IP address is 2.2. Okay, destination is 20.12. So what do we want? 20.12 translated into 30.3. So according to that traffic flow, which IP address is translating here? Source or destination? The destination IP address, right? destination is translating into 30.3, right? So that means on this interface destination IP address is translating, so that is going to become my mapped interface, right? So automatically other interface is real for me, and I need to create NAT role for real interface. So what I need to do, object network host is always the real interface IP address. So real interface is my DMZ, so server IP is 30.3. So this is my IP address which belongs to real interface, and I need to give here NAT rule DMZ outside static 20.12, right? So that is going to be my NAT configuration. Okay, I hope this is clear now to everyone. So let's start. So we are using object network role 2, okay, host 30.3, okay. Before that I forget to configure IP address on that interface, so maybe it will give me error, but let me try. There is no DMZ interface actually. I will show you if interface is not there, you can't configure. Even you can see outside static 20.12, so it will give you error on DMZ. See, there is no DMZ. So what do we need to do? Interface gig 0/2, no shutdown, name if DMZ, security level 50, okay, IP address 30.10/24, okay. Now we can configure the rule. Okay, so IP address is already I defined for the host, so I can configure this one directly. Okay, so that means now NAT configuration is done. If you check show run NAT, so we have rule 2. Okay, you can see the DMZ is the real interface, outside is the mapped interface, and show run object network, and here is the IP address of the host. Okay, and even if you check escalate table have entry for both, for 10 and for DMZ as well, right? Is that clear to everyone? So this time I'm initiating the traffic from R2, okay, to R3, but let me check on R3. Do we have telnet configuration and everything? Okay, we have everything. And now let me start from R2. Telnet, not this, I need to give to 20.12 IP. So wait a minute, maybe for the first time it will give me this error. Let me try again. Still we have something. And what is that? Okay, let me do one thing. I can use one command, if you remember guys. I can use packet tracer command, okay, from input from outside interface, and that is TCP traffic initiating from 12.2 on port number 104, a random port number, right? And the destination is 20.12 on port number 23. So see, again you need to remind your packet flow, right? So the traffic is coming on firewall. Okay, so firewall always going to check first which table, guys? Connection table, but there is no entry for the first time. Then
routing table.
yeah, routing table, correct. Okay, so routing table give you idea about which interface? Exit interface. Which is the exit interface? After that firewall get to know
X.
DMZ is the my exit interface. But now there is one thing, that is SLP, that is SLP, service level policy, right? So this time the traffic is coming from interface which have security level 0 to interface which have security level 50. So and inside have 100. So outside interface have the lowest security level number 0. So that means there is no SLP, there is no SLP. So if there is no SLP, traffic will come to firewall on the global policy, on the global policy, guys. And what is the global policy? Deny IP any. So traffic will come on global policy and will deny. If you remember, right? That was the traffic flow. And if you want to see, okay, so see, the first firewall check MAC access list, that is not configured. Second, device is not checking routing table here. I will tell you why. But for now it's going to be check unnat, that means untranslate NAT. Translate means from real to mapped, and untranslate mapped to real, right? So the traffic is coming from outside interface to DMZ. So DMZ is the real and outside is your mapped, right? So that's why it's showing unnat. Okay, and if you come, okay, so we have here static NAT, traffic is showing allowed, okay, and the rule is matching here NAT rule number 2, in which NAT is from DMZ to outside, okay, there is no problem. And using NAT, you can see NAT divert to egress interface DMZ. So routing table is not checked here, guys. Routing table is not checked here. Why? Because if you have NAT configuration, so they will check the NAT, that is destination NAT, that is destination NAT. Okay, I forgot to explain you about, one is destination NAT and one is source NAT. Guys, you know the difference between destination NAT and source NAT? Any idea? Just a minute, guys. So now the destination NAT is giving you idea about exit interface. Why? See, in the destination NAT, the traffic is coming on your mapped interface outside, right? And other interface is here DMZ. So automatically destination NAT is giving you idea. Traffic is coming on outside and you have to send to DMZ interface. So that how you get to know about exit interface. So routing table is not required, or you can say the task of routing table is done by your destination NAT, right? And what is destination NAT? The point is very simple. The traffic is coming from outside from client to outside interface. So on outside interface, device is translating destination IP, so that is destination NAT for me. Okay, the device is translating destination IP because the traffic is coming for this IP address 20.12 and we are translating 20.12 into 30.3. So this is destination IP address in my packet. Why? The source IP address is like 20.1.1.2, the IP address of router, right? So in this 20.12, which is destination IP, is translating into 30.3. So on this interface, device is translating destination IP address. So I can say this is destination net. I can say this is destination net, right? Are you getting my point? And in opposite, if traffic will go from this server to router, so here we have real interface and this is the mapped. So real is going to be change your source IP address. Which IP address, guys? Source IP. So source is 30.1.1.3 translate into 20.1.1.12. So if your source IP address is translating into the packet, so that is source net for me. That is source net for me. So according to traffic flow, we can say source net and destination net, right? So the traffic is coming on this interface. So the first of device is going to be check the connection table, which is not there. Second is routing table, but routing table is not required to be checked because of the destination NAT is giving you idea traffic must forward to DMZ interface, right? Which interface? DMZ interface. And the third thing, SLP is required to be checked, but there is no SLP because of security level 0. So that's why traffic moved to global policy, and which will deny the traffic, right? Deny IP any, okay? So why deny IP any? Because from security level 0 to 50, right? And if you check, they have same thing. See, the fourth is access list drop the traffic. And what is the reason? Implicit deny. What is that reason? Implicit deny. Why? Because the global ACL, or so you can say the global policy, drop the traffic. So whenever traffic is hitting from lower security level to higher security level, you have to do one more thing with it. You need to apply ACL. And what ACL you have to apply? You need to permit TCP traffic from source this with a random port number. Random port number is no need to be defined, right? So we have to permit TCP traffic which is coming from host 20.1.1.2, the IP address of R2 interface. To which host, guys? To which host? Tell me. Real IP address always. Real IP address, okay? And what is the port number? Port number is 23. So this ACL we need to apply access group, whatever name can be, like name can be my any name I can give it, like the DMZ, okay? In interface outside. So that how you have to apply it. So you need to permit your traffic. So whenever you're going to configure ACL on firewall, make sure ACL have always entry for real IP, always entry for real IP, not for translated, because we have two IP here. One is this 20.12, right? That is mapped IP, and second is 30.1.1.3, which is real IP. So ACL always need to configure for real IP address, not for the mapped IP, okay? So now let me show you. We need to configure the ACL. Access list DMZ, okay? Permit TCP host 20.2 host. Okay, let me show you. If I'm going to configure for by mistake mapped IP, will it work or not? Just to show you, okay? Access group DMZ1 in interface outside. So we applied it, and now let me try packet tracer command. First of all, I will show you from R2. Okay, so we did telnet, but still it will not work, as we know. I can show you in packet tracer. Packet tracer input outside interface TCP traffic from 20.2 on a random port number. Port number can be anything. Let me use the 5 words, okay, or 5 digit. and to destination is 20.12, port number 23. Traffic is matching with the rule, no problem. ACL is dropping your traffic, and you can see that is untranslate from 20.12 to 30.3, and the traffic is dropped, still dropped. Why? Because in ACL we configured the wrong IP address. So what I need to do, I will add another entry in the same. Okay, show access list. So I created one more entry, so this is the old one, and I created new entry, okay, with line number 2, like a new sequence number. And this time if we try, see, first of all NAT is matched, right? And NAT is giving you idea to untranslate and the exit interface, okay. With DMZ, exit interface is DMZ and untranslate. And then you have access list, so access list is going to be check, right? And which access list? 20.2 with destination 30.3. so here is entry for real IP, okay. And after that you can see the traffic is allowed, okay. So if now I do show escalate, we have entry, show con long, so we don't have entry. Now I can generate traffic from R2 to R3. See, so now we have here access of R3. So I hope this is clear to everyone. If this thing is clear, I can come to traffic flow of ASA now. Sorry, this is router. Show run NAT. So if you check, we configure NAT, okay, and static NAT with translated IP 20.12. show run object network. So we configured for 3333, right? So that means 30.1.1.3 IP is going to be translated into 20.1.1.12. So this is destination NAT. Why? Because the traffic is coming on map, and ACL is already there. Now let me configure inspection. So if you remember how to configure inspection, just we have to match the traffic first, okay. And I'm going to match the traffic in ACL. So that is my telnet traffic, permit TCP traffic from anyone with port number 23. I need to configure class map, okay, match access list telnet, policy map is map, okay, and class is cmap, and like we want to set the connection, right? Set connection con max 2, okay, and exit we need to apply into service policy in, wait a minute, okay, that is map in interface, not inside, that is my outside interface this time, okay. So we want to inspect traffic coming from outside to DMZ. So for that we have applied here one class map. So here what I want to see, so like we have now destination NAT, we have ACL, and the next thing is inspection. So I want to generate the traffic manually. Input from outside interface, the TCP traffic, right? And the host is 20.2 with a random port number to 20.12 port number 23, right? So if you check, so first of all the device is checking an NAT, that is destination NAT for me, right? And now you can see the device is getting here idea about egress interface. Okay, so device get to know about egress interface, and after egress interface device check the ACL, and ACL is always for the real IP address, right? Okay, and now after that you can see we have here now inspection. So third step is inspection, which is checking the class map, C map, policy P map, connections, okay, which is applied on your outside interface. So that means what flow we have discussed, that is exact same. So there is no entry in connection table, so that's why there is destination NAT, which giving you idea about exit interface, okay. And then there is ACL for real IP address, okay, which is already configured if you remember. Then we did inspection for layer 7 traffic. Okay, so now we are not going to perform source NAT or anything right now, because NAT is still we need to discuss. Traffic will forwarded here, and we need to check now this step, interface route lookup. So for interface route lookup, what I can do, I need to change something. What I need to do, I can configure loopbacks on R3, and I can give route on ASA for that, right? But suppose we are on R3, show IP interface brief. Okay, we have loopbacks. So I am going to change the rule now. So what I am going to change, show run NAT. So I am going into the same rule. No host. I am going to remove the 30.3. Okay. Unable to delete the rule. Object is being used. Right. Why? Because there is entry, I guess. And okay. Show con. Show exclate. Yeah, there is entry actually. So what do we need to do? No object network role 2. I removed it. Object network role 2. This time my host is 333, right? NAT DMZ is the real interface, right? Outside is the mapped interface 20.12. okay, and even I need to change in the ACL, show on access list, right? So let me remove we have here DMZ. Okay, this is the IP address, and okay, let me give another entry inside the same access list. DMZ1 permit TCP host 20.2 to host. I need to give the real IP this, okay, port number 23. So ACL is already applied on the outside interface if you remember. So just I created, and I have not given the route. If you check, there is no route for 30 network, so that is route lookup. So firewall will check for route lookup. If you check, I'll do the packet tracer command again. Packet tracer input outside interface, okay, and source IP is 2 on a random port number, destination is 12 on port 23, which traffic is TCP, okay. So now see, we give this command, okay. So first destination NAT is checked, which is giving you exit interface. Then ACL is checked, right? So this is now for 30.3. ACL is checked and traffic have forwarded successfully after the ACL, right? And even your connection table is checked. Connection table have entry too actually. Maybe because of that they dropped it. Uh, yeah. What should I do? Wait a minute. I need to increase the connections. Okay. Set conmax 200. Okay. So now let me generate again the traffic. Okay. So this time the traffic is forward through ACL and even through the connection, right? The inspection, so there is no problem. So in your packet tracer command your traffic is forwarded, you can see the traffic is allowed. And there is one more thing, if you check, yeah, see the RFP, that means reverse route lookup. But in packet tracer traffic is allowed, but in real if you send the traffic telnet uh, 20.1.12, so there is no telnet. Why? Because firewall don't have route. So if you check in the logs, if you enable the logs guys, logging enable, logging console 7, wait a minute. Okay, let me generate the traffic again. See, you will get this error guys if you don't have route to reach the destination, but maybe you have created the entry. So in NAT table I make the translation for 333, but I don't have any route for 333. So that is the reason where I am getting this error, where I am getting this error. Okay, so this is about interface lookup. Okay, so you have to give the correct route. So maybe I can give the correct route, but maybe I give the wrong next hop, and for wrong next hop firewall will not resolve the MAC address. Why? Because wrong next hop never have any MAC address, right? So for that layer to next hop there will be no log message, there will be no log message. So we have to enable ARP for that. Okay, I will show you, wait a minute. So I am giving here route on my DMZ interface for 333. Okay, and next stop is, suppose I have given the wrong. Okay, so right now you have route in routing table. Okay, so there will be not that problem, and even you will not get the same log message because route is here. Okay, okay, so what I need to do, debug ARP, and now on R2 let me try again. See, ARP send, and you will get this error guys. Okay, pending ARP. Okay, so that will be the error at layer 2. So that is the idea about packet flow here guys. So if you have any challenge, let me know, so let me correct it. Okay, 3. So this time you will get the, see, okay. So that is all about the traffic flow of the firewall using the NAT, ACL, inspection. Okay, so we discussed everything. So if you have any doubt, please let me know in this. Anyone?